Welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream with live peoples, and I'll record it for YouTube. You're able to watch at our leisure. I'm working on the Colin Thompson colouring book. I think I really need to finish this page, which was in pastel pencil. Excuse me. So I started it with this 36 set of very pale pastels. It was a portrait set, so it's going to be all skin tones and very pastel pale colours, and I really like them. So even though last week I managed to buy the 72 Derwent pastel pencils, which were very, very vibrant, I think I'd like to stick this particular page with the pale, and they are just clinging on for dear life. If I rubbed this, it would smudge. Excuse me. So I thought I would do that today, seeing as Hubby's taking my daughter to see her grandmother. Excuse me, and the minute I start to cough. We have little boy asleep at our feet, so hopefully we should be fairly quiet. I think I was going around the edges with the chocolate, which was number 68B. So I know that all the shells are going to be the same. And there seems to be a few marks on here, so I could possibly find. Excuse me, and I packed this away because I thought I was actually going out today. So I did pack, and I can just about get, it will just zip up with the 72, my little book of, I can't find my eraser. Excuse me. I've got my 72 watercolours, my 72 ink temps, and I seem to have lost my magic electric eraser. So if you have to leave, oh, it's under here, hidden. So I put all these things in here to take with me, and everything fits. The only thing I can't get in there is the colour books. Oh, excuse me. But the tin and all this fits in that little pocket, and the guard sharpener as well. It all fits in that little tiny pocket. So I've got quite a lot of dry materials and also my little paint brushes if I want to do some watercolouring. Oh dear, excuse me. Oh, hi kangaroo. Sorry about that. I went on, then I suddenly realised it was Sunday. And I've been all that time trying to find what time little P was on, and then I found a tweet to say that she was poorly. So I messaged her to say I hope she gets better. But I thought I wouldn't advertise that I'm on, and then it doesn't look like I'm jumping on because she's ill. Oh, excuse me. So I'm just going to see if I can erase these little pieces out of here. Yes, I can. That's good. And it does sound like there's a bumblebee trapped in a spider's web. And I do have a beautiful little sable brush that I'm using to just gently knock things off. Couldn't swish it because it will smudge. So I'm going to work again across ways, and I've learnt by error to put a piece of tracing paper over the top of the page, because as you can see you make marks, and hopefully they'll rub off. Now my thumb is a little bit better. I sprained my wrist. So as one thing gets better, other thing kind of disappears. And of course, that's slidey because it's it's on a slope now. I seem to have lots of other little laptops kicking about. Oh, excuse me. The minute little bit dusty, these, I have to say, just a little bit dusty, but it beats the watercolour thing. At the moment I still can't bend the thumb, so I can't hold a paintbrush with any accuracy. So this is a really good way if you don't have very good hand things. I'm just going to zoom in. I think he's a bit of a chef, but I think I want to put him in bright colours. Oh yes, Kangaroo. Yeah, Kangaroo said she's got one as well. I did a bit of a video, just recorded it, and it's stuff. So I've got 6. I can get 6 of these. I've got the 72 pencils, then I've got this one, I've got the 72 watercolours, and then I've got these 2 with the pastel pencils in. And it's tight, but it fits. And then I put my pencils into the little thing here, the strap, and the strap. I put this in, and I put the little tin in as well. And then all the other things are loose, but it gets rather chunky, so I can get 6 in. So I bought 2 for my daughter, and I've sent one today full of pens and pencils. As you can see, there is a tiny bit of room in here, and that's for the 3rd one, the 6th one. So to get 6 with 24 in each is pretty good. And then there's the pocket at the front, and I have a huge phone, so I can get my phone in there as well. So it works really well. So it will sit by the sofa, it will go in the car by my feet, and I have everything I need. I will have a little tiny water pot as well. So I've got all my watercolours, but they're all pencils because I've had to give everything else away. So so I'm hoping tomorrow to do a new. Oh, sorry, is that better? Oh, has the sound completely gone? Let me have a look. Yeah, the sound's gone. For some reason. Oh, wait a minute, I know why. Don't panic. It's because the second time I went in, I didn't go and change to. That should be better. Sorry about that. I've got the laptop one on. If I also do things in order, so I set the camera up first. But because I'd come back out, it hadn't kept any of my settings. So I'll zoom in, and then we'll just see if I can. I'll see if it will focus on pencils themselves. That should be okay. Hopefully that should be okay. The only problem I do have is my thumb tends to get in the way. Sorry about that, Suzanne. Is that better? Sorry. What's this on my side? Kangaroo, is that better? Sorry about that. I'll just do this then, if that's okay. Oops. And then we can go back onto there and go back onto there. So that might be a bit better. Do excuse me, my throat. The minute I start to talk. So I'm zoomed in. I'm going to do this little section here. So I want to do that top. So I think I got the chocolate out. I think this is chocolate. Really enjoying doing these pastels because you just literally scratch, and I don't have to use the thumb. You can just scratch, even if you did it like this. Hold your pencil, just a little bit of a scratchiness. And the blender again, I'm not using the thumb, so it's the two fingers, a bit like when you're doing the Chinese. It's very similar when you use chopsticks. Your top two fingers are using this hand, so your thumb's not doing anything. So it's the only problem is my thumb tends to be in the way of the camera because I can't use it very well. So it's getting slightly better, so that's good. There's a little door there, so I might do that a little bit darker in a minute. But I just love smushing this colour around. I can't really call it blending because I'm not blending, I'm just smushing it into the page. I'm not actually blending two colours, I'm just is this called a blender? It's a shaper. But I'm just pushing it so that it's barely hanging on. I might. They're just a little bit dusty. They're not too bad, but there is a little bit of dust comes off them. But if you were outside in summer, they'd be lovely. So what we've got here, we've got, it's all cookery, so I would think that's an onion. That's an onion. I would think that's an onion as well. He's got sausage and something on there. It's a little cottage. So the little cottage could use a little bit of a straw colour. I hope the colour's alright. It looks a little bit blurred to me, that. Let's see if we can get it better. Oh, thank you. See if we can get that a little bit better. And if I actually move that down, that probably would be better. I think that's better. Just have a look at the writing. Yeah, hopefully does that look okay? Hopefully that looks okay. Yes, I think that's okay. I'll just move this down very slightly. Nearly there. That looks a bit better. So I've just put the tiniest little bit of colour in there, and that was an orange earth, but it was an F, so it's a very fine. It was very fine, almost like a straw colour. What's that? So I've managed to get a little bit of a. I've got the other little blending tools just in case I need them, and I've got wet a baby wipe, so the one from yesterday, so I can just kind of stroke the end and just make sure that it's dry and there's no pastel on it, so it's really clean because that's a pale colour. And there's a fair amount of colour that stays on the end of that little, it almost feels like an eraser, but it's very soft and bendy, so it's really good for pulley fingers. That's a yellow for that. Deep cadmium, I think I have this one. I do like those windows to be very, very vivid, as if there is somebody actually home. And these are windows we could do. So we do all the windows in that little section, and then just tease the colour where we want it. It doesn't take much to smush it about. And there is a little man underneath the table snoring. And again, you can see that there is some lemon on the end there. So just take that off and it's nice for next time. So I think I'll do this book he's sitting on. And that's quite a pale book, is that? Changed my mind. I think we'll give it a little bit of oomph. So I've got a little bit of a flat colour there, and then we can kind of just in one stroke give it a little bit of a shadow down that side. So if anybody's got any questions, excuse me, give me a shout. I just lost that. So my burnt umber seems to have had a bit of a mishap. But I say they are very old, so I'm going to sharpen it onto a piece of paper. And you've got to be very careful, but I've put this into my daughter's old erasers and always have the blade facing away. So when this gets quite happy being in there, it'll slide out very easily, but it's only been in there a day. So you put the guard and the pencil and stroke across. You don't dig down, almost have it flat. And I use this as a guide, so that's where I'm starting roughly. Sorry, there could be a bark alert, somebody's gone outside. And all I do is just gently stroke to this guard here. Oops, you see it's all crumbling. So you want to be very careful. Just take off little slithers until you can see the colour strip. And it doesn't matter if it's pencil or pastel or whatever it is. Now, I've dropped these quite a few times, so they're not in their best at all. So of course now that's changed, so I need to take some more off. And I've noticed that the wood is slightly different. The wood is different on these old pastel pencils than on the new ones. The other one is kind of an orange greeny one. You see the difference? This one is a solider wood. Now, I don't know if that's because these are not original Derwent pencils, or over the years they've had to change their wood. I think with all the kind of preservation orders on wood, the things have changed, so they've obviously had to change what kind of wood they use. I'm not sure, I haven't asked them. I will ask them when I get in touch with them about my little book. So if you can see, I'm just leaving the strip of colour in the middle and just taking the wood off. I do this with an eyeliner as well, because if you get a sharp piece in your eye, it's a bit drastic, so I normally take quite a lot off the same way, and then I've just got a nice rounded fat blob of colour that's going to run along my eye lines. Right, so I've got some really nice colour there. Let me see that. The light seems to have changed a little bit. So I've taken off the wood, so all this wood is going to be thrown away, but I've left the pastel. Now I'm going to leave that because I've actually got a sharp ridge on it, and they are a little bit more delicate than the others because it's a bigger strip, and then this can be thrown away, but there is actually a piece of pastel there, so I'll keep that because that will give me some colour, but the rest can go in the bin. And the first thing you should do as soon as you stop playing with the knife is to put it away and get the tip on, and then keep your fingers out of the way and push down gently into the eraser, and then that's going to be safe now. Safe away, because if you start picking things up and waving the blade around, you're bound to catch yourself, and I have done that before. So the last thing you get out is the knife, and the first thing you put away is the knife. And now I've got that out, I haven't used it, so let me have a look. It was the burnt umber, but it's an F, so it's quite a soft colour. And my little piece of paper. It's a beautiful colour. Little blender. It's a soft warm grey, the best way I can say. It's like a fawn grey, a very warm grey. And I think I'm going to do his little hat in that, and his outfit, because he needs a little bit of colour on there. And again, just make sure that you get, and if you wipe it on a baby wipe and then smush it with your thumb, all the colour comes off and you end up with a lovely soft blending tool again. It's all nice and clean. So I'm just going to push that over there. Oops, sorry, I'm very near the camera, so I have to forgive me for knocking that. And just giving that a little bit of a colour, just to get rid of the stark white. And I had a flesh colour for the skin and face, but that seems to have gone. But there will be a little bit of colour on there, so I can just smudge a little bit of colour in there. And I seem to have gone over his toe there. So if you hold this and I've just taken that tiniest little bit off his toe, and now it's bright again. If you wanted to take, even though it's been blended in, you can still erase most of it, not all of it, but most of it. So if you do the most drastic mistake, it's not the end of the world. So just check it in frame, and then I can do this one as well. And literally just scratching a little bit of colour on. And they are just like pastels. The minute it touches the paper, it chalks off. And there is no key to this paper. It's very flat, but it's just enough. Just smudge inside, and you're basically making a stain. That's all you're doing, because you can actually rub all of this off. And if we just smudge over there, it gives that little effect that there's some kind of label on there that's got colour on it. So we need a sausage colour now. And again, I think it's going to be the chocolate. Some burnt sausages. And some obvious mushrooms. And if you just do a dot, I found doing dots quite good. And then we can just smudge all that colour to create pretend mushroom, and just twist. So you just put put the blending tool on and twist, and that will give you a mushroom. A mushroom effect. And we could make that a blue plate, I think. I could make that a blue plate, because I do have blue. So I think we'll make that a blue plate. It's quite vibrant, is this plate, this colour. But I think it lends itself. And you could obviously leave them like that if you wanted. The problem with that in a book is they may not stay on the page. It's just the fact that I'm blending it into the page helps it actually stick. And again, you couldn't do that with ordinary pastels. So if anybody's got any questions, or again, there's some windows here. So we need that bright yellow again. Excuse me. So we can just very carefully smush that into there, and then we can blend in. So although it's blending, it's not blending two colours together. I'm not blending two colours in this book. I'm just blending it into the page to give it a little bit of fixture. Excuse me. A little bit of fixture. If I just pull that to there, we can see. So I'm going to do the top shelf next. So we thought that might be some kind of an onion. So just give that, and you can have some little pink boots, and it literally is just a little touch, and he wants a little bit of pink round. And there's very little effort. Now they are blended together, but the most I use is 3 colours. Excuse me. And we haven't done that little mushroom under there yet. And I'm quite enjoying these really pale colours. And we were trying to find if we could actually have them get the full set, but I don't think we can, so it's a shame. So again, just smudging that in. I wouldn't call this blending, this is just smearing, smudging. And then, oops, could put just a line down there. Just tease the colour up. Have that kind of darkish, I think. So I thought this would be quite nice to use. because you've got that little bit of brown, you can just go over a label and just give the label a little bit of touch of colour. And we have a blue, it's probably a bluey green colour. You smudge that one in and smudge that one in. And then you can just very carefully just smudge a little bit over there, just to give it a tone and get rid of the stark white. So we can have a purple book. Oops, sorry, I'll smudge that one in. And then just carefully over the top. And we have I think we have a terracotta. We'll have some terracotta pots on the top of those chimneys. And with chimney stacks. And I'll probably use this smaller little tool here that again is not very clean. It's a bit too bendy. It's very squishy, but it's got a finer point on it than the other one. So it'll give me just that little bit better control on the chimney pots. But I do find the firmer ones are better on paper. And see, if I did smudge that, it would smudge a little bit. So if anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps. Again, I think we've got this kind of brown going on here. I really want that to morph into that. So again, I'm going to use this really tiny tool now, just for smudging. And again, you can just scrump out a little bit of something from somewhere, just to get rid of that stark white. And there's a really nice deep in our kind of sense of the word for the tree. Oops, sorry, catching that one. I think these blues are a little bit too bright, but I can dull that down. Oh gosh, let me just move this out of the way. I just keep catching it. Oh, I've toned that one down quite nicely. And then a smidge across the top just gives a hint of colour. Just going to go up to here because that blue is a little bit too vibrant for me. So I'm just going to see if I can take the electric eraser and just have a natural highlight somewhere. It's just not as bright, and that's completely changed that page again now, because it's not sticking out like a sore thumb, which it was doing, I think. Oh yes, you're quite welcome, Kangaroo Babe, since she's colouring along and I'm just waffling. And what I could just do is see how clean the little clean the little eraser, and again it's wet, and then I just wipe it with my thumb to just dry it off. So you don't really want these wet, not in this book, not in this book. So let me see if I can just follow this. See if it will find it, which it's not doing. It's rather strange. It's not finding it. It's a lot faster, I think, with the pastels than it is with the pencils. I think it is. So, as you say, welcome to the Bunny's Designs on this very quiet Sunday afternoon. My husband's taken the girls out. So he's taken my daughter to see the grandmother. And so that's, sometimes you get some fluff on. So again, they're very tactile, these little plastic ends. They're quite so I could have a look at the next big one there, that one. So I think we could have probably a warm spectrum orange, which is a fairly decent kind of colour, and that's all the colour you need. Excuse me. And then you kind of just blend them together. That one's done now. If that light's a slightly bit better. And have a purple one as well next door to that one. If you just two little scratches of colour. And you basically, it's staining the colour in there, but it seems to work quite well. I'm just going to smudge this one, because I just need to take that stark white off, and it just about does enough. I think I'd like a little bit more of that purpley colour. And I can best describe it, it's like when you chalk on the pavement with kids or on a blackboard. It's a little bit dusty, a little bit chalky. But I'll have another blue one as well down here. I don't intend to do the next one in these such pale colours, but I just really enjoyed myself when I did the others, and I thought, well, I better keep them the same. So if I used any of the 72 other colours that I've just bought, it will spoil this really softness up here. So this page is all going to be soft colours. From this 36 very old pencil set from Derwent for portraiture. So if anybody has any questions, pop them in caps. I have a green one down there, I think. And the reason I've got addicted to these is the fact that my thumb has been ill for a week. And I don't mind pseudo gout in the knees or anywhere else, but when it gets in my thumb, it's a bit debilitating and it's a bit depressing. So let's have a look at the other side, and we have some gorgeous pale colours here. We could possibly give that little man standing there. They remind me of the flower pot men. That's who they remind me of. The flower pot men. So I'm just going to do those few on that page. We've got some gorgeous pastel pale colours there. Again, I really like these colours. So we can have that quite a green, that one. And another olive colour there. And then obviously up this particular staircase there will be the light shining through. And show what else we've got behind there. We'll just put that. And we can have, I do like this one. It's called it's called Ultramarine 29F, and it's the most beautiful pale shade for highlights. So we'll just kind of smush this in. And you're just rubbing really gently but very quickly. I used to spend a couple of minutes on each individual book, and now I'm taking minutes, so I'm quite enjoying that. So it's a lot faster. If I didn't talk so much, it would be faster. So we could probably do with some little bit of a dark highlight on there. That's good to use. This has got kind of a bit of a wedge on there. Have quite a fine point. And there's one that's actually got a finer one. It's got a real fine ridge on that one. And this one has a real fine point. It's a bit dirty and grubby. It's very tiny, so I can squish that colour on there for the steps. As you can see, it's very, very wobbly. So control wise it's not brilliant, but for little tiny spaces like that it's perfect. So we've got the little brown bear to do. I think we'll have a brown bear. So again, he's got some dark there around his ear and here. I can smudge that where I want it. Sorry, bark alert. No idea what it's barking at. Oops, you see there's some little bits of cotton wool on the end. smudge the colour in and then draw it out where you want it. And then if you want a real highlight, see, I think that looks quite nice. If you want a real highlight, you can take your eraser, and if you just want a gentle highlight, you just use the eraser carefully. But if you wanted a real strong one, then you would need to rub. But obviously I don't need to do that because I've got this magic. I can get a nice little effect, and then I want my little brush. And the bear's got a little highlight on his leg where it's sticking out more than anywhere else. And I'm all for quick and easy. I think that looks like an onion with a face, but I can't see, so I'm going to leave that. Yes, I can't see what it is. It's a little creature there somewhere, but he's got arms and legs, so I'm going to leave him. I could just do with a little bit of something in the cottage, on the cottage step, or country lane there, just to give that starkness away. And if we took the tiniest little bit of brown there, again that can be smudged up a bit and smudged down a bit and smudged across a bit. The more you smudge, the more you take off. Just giving it that little bit of depth. And again, if you don't really like that, you can just you can rub it just with the eraser without too much strength, and that will take it back a little bit to be lighter. A little man could have some red trousers on, but I don't have a very... I'm putting some blue trousers on, shall I? I'm putting some blue trousers on. Blue jacket. And the pastels, you can either have a very vivid colour or you can just have a hint. And again, I quite like that, so I'm just going to smush a little bit of something through him, so let's get rid of that stark white. Oops. And I suppose we could do this one next, so I move across and down. So if anybody's got any questions, pop them in caps. Everybody seems to be busy, so welcome to Bunny's Designs. It's a live stream with live people who are busy colouring in, doing other things on this Sunday afternoon. In the UK, it's the afternoon. It would be morning and evening at different sides of the planet. I'm going to take the chocolate colour and finish this one off now. And again, just stroking some colour into there and then blending, blowing the excess dust off and then just rubbing that into the page. There's no proper key to this, and it's no guarantee it's going to work. It could rub away and disappear by next week if it felt like it, but I think the quality of the pastels means it probably will hang about a bit. But this is just an experiment. This is just to play with because my hands are a bit not working brilliantly. So I'm keeping this little squishy one here just to kind of help me get some detail. So this is all about fruit, this one, I think. A prune with a view. So again, we've got some nice colours. And they're very easy to manoeuvre. And the beauty of it is you don't have any water. And I loved watercolouring, but again, it's just not an option at the moment. So I'm quite pleased I can actually carry on, because I didn't think I could do that last week. So I keep picking that ultramarine up, and it is that bit too pale, that one. I'll try spectrum blue. So there is some colour on there. So if I take my eraser, and it hasn't been smushed in, that's completely disappeared. So if you make a boo-boo and think, oh, I didn't want to put that colour there, you can erase it away. And there isn't a trace of it. If you've blended it, there is a trace, but only just a trace. And I find that there is a fine particles of dust at the top of my desk, but I just use a baby wipe and wipe it all away. So I never dust. Everything's always done with a wet baby wipe, because it catches dust rather than let it float about. And so hopefully it's at the other side of the desk and it's hidden away from me, so it's not near me. These are very subtle colours, very pastel pale colours. Sorry, that could be a bark alert. Twiddling around. They've actually taken the others on the motorway in the car. It's normally Alfie that goes out, but they've taken the others out. And my other daughter's going to meet them from uni, and she's going to meet her dog, because she misses her dog very terribly. So again, I want a tiny touch of, you could have a terracotta colour there. And the more you put on, the deeper it is. If it's much really down, you can see that's quite dark, but then the pale is on top. And that allows you to blend as well. So you can get the palest of colour on top. Almost. And then start at the lightest, and then bring that shadow down, and then you'll have just enough to put a bit of a smudge on there. So just taking off that stark white. So just going to see what this does. See if that changes anything, because I'm just worried that I didn't used to have jittery videos and now I do. So I wondered why. Now that's indigo, so it's going to be quite dark. But there we have a go with it. See what happens. Well, it's quite a midnight moonlit blue colour, isn't it? I don't know if that's what we wanted, but I can put a nice terracotta on there now. made it worse. So I just go back to there. I'll see if that makes it any better. So I need to put the highlight on there now. Just take it back to white, just for the satellite dish, and the brush. With this. Let's see, last time, let's see if I can get that to work. So we need the terracotta again, so we can put the terracotta chimney in there. Oops, not my little plate. I think that's a cup and saucer as well. So I'm going to use the little tiny one, which is the very squishy end, extremely squishy, very squishy, and that will just allow me to tease that colour where I want it. I can smush that colour through there. Sorry, it could be a bark alert, because he's been obviously a bad puppy. It's extremely squidgy. It's very squidgy, this, very squidgy. But it might just give me that little bit of colour into that background. So that looks okay, I think that looks okay. So the teacup wants to be very pale. We do need rid of that stark white, so I'm going to put just a little bit of this cream colour in there, the yellow zinc. Oops. And we need a little red, but we have only got a geranium colour. We'll put a little geranium pot there. And we need yellow there. And a little bit of brown ochre, but it's a very pale one. Just to give that a little bit of definition and take that stark white off. And we have Lord of the Pies there, so that could be a blue book. Probably a paler yellow in that one. Again, I've just got the tiny... My eraser won't turn round, won't erase, because it spins. And there's a coffee percolator there as well, so... So I'll just finish this little section and then I might start another one in a brighter colour so we can get some really nice colours going. So you can do quite a lot of pastel work and then go in them with the blender. It's always easier to go lightest first, because I think that would possibly make a good label for this one. And then that would make a good label for that one. We just need a turquoise colour. And the yellow. I think I'll brighten that up a bit. I think it wants to be a little bit brighter. And then we want a little brown door. And we have that shelf that needs finishing. So we need a little bit of just make him fawn. Take that stark white off the steps, which looks quite nice. And I haven't blended that bit in there, so we'll blend this in. So I think I've finished all that section, so I'll zoom out and see what it looks like, because that's taken about an hour, so we'll have a quick look. So it's getting there. So I've done that section today in about an hour, so it's a lot faster than the other way, and I'd probably do a lot faster if I wasn't stopping and talking and explaining things. and I think it matches. I'm pretty sure it matches. There's the same colours in there. There's the purples and creams. I'm not doing so badly, I don't think, for matching. And we'll just take the chocolate, which I should have out, and colour this one. This will darken it up, I think. Just finished this piece here. I kind of want this quite dark, I think. And there is enough on there to go across to make enough of a highlight. So I hope that looks okay. I hope it looks similar. It seems to be a bit paler down here, but I'm sure when the whole page is finished there will be some continuity. So thank you for watching. I think this is part 2 of the Derwent pastel pencils. Oops. In the Colin Thompson colouring book. So thank you for watching.